Deputy Mezec, we're going to be discussing the pint and politics coming up, but it can't go unsaid. I mean, it has to be mentioned. Your latest video on Facebook that's gone viral. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Reform Jersey recently put up on Facebook just a clip of a speech I was giving in the States that week about all the things that I think the Council of Ministers have got wrong in the island, and all the things that I think really make people frustrated at politicians and the mistakes they're making and when they're not speaking up for ordinary islanders. And I basically just stood up and said what I believed. I might be a politician, but I'm an ordinary Jersey person. I'm quite young compared to most politicians, and I got into politics because I wanted to make a difference and because I felt like the government was really letting the people of the island I was born and brought up in down. So I just stood up and said what I believed, and it seems that a huge number of people in the island agreed with what I was saying. So when I spoke about the government failing on population policy and silly little things like the seaweed on St Oban's Bay, which you'd have to be seriously incompetent to let that continue to be a problem for this island when all the evidence is out there about what needs to be done to sort it out. I just said what I believed to be true, and it seems to have struck a chord with tens of thousands of people in the island who've been sharing it, and people have been stopping me in the street and saying, we agreed with what you've been saying. And this is the first time that's ever happened in Jersey, because we've only recently got cameras in the States Assembly. That was a decision that was made just a few months ago, that we'd install cameras. And I said to the States that we put CCTV up in town to deter people from committing crimes. So why not put CCTV in the States Assembly to deter politicians from committing crimes or doing the wrong thing? And I think that's been really positive to give the public an opportunity to hear what their States members are saying. And so I said what I think the public of Jersey think. And I hope people will begin to realise now that the majority of politicians are not on their side. They're not interested in looking out for ordinary islanders, but there are some of us who are trying really hard to put forward policies that we think will actually benefit the majority of the population. And it's not good enough to just be disillusioned with politics. People have got to come out and vote for people who are going to represent their interests, and I hope this will stir that discussion in the public.
What kind of stats, what kind of statistics have this video? What are they? Last I looked, I think there's 80-odd thousand views it had. I forgot. Have you got some stats for us?
It's about 90,000 views at the moment. The vast majority of those are in Jersey. But there has been quite a lot of people from Guernsey, the Isle of Man and Alderney who've been watching it as well. And I've been speaking to a lot of people from the other islands, talking about the things we've got in common and problems with democracy around our islands. But yeah, tens of thousands of people have seen this, and the reception's been overwhelmingly positive about what I said. 90,000
views, I think it was 1,500 shares, 2,000 likes or something. That's that's unprecedented. But the interesting thing I read and I seen that none of our local mainstream media have reported on this. Bearing in mind, this is a new concept, as you said, with the cameras in the States, and a local politician has never had until now a video go viral like this. Why do you think there's no interest in the mainstream media? Why haven't they reported on this? What's your thoughts?
It's really strange. I gave a speech in the States that I've given 5 times before. I always stand up in the States and I talk about the problems I think the Council of Ministers are causing, and I try and speak up for what I believe the majority of the population believe in, and the media never cover it. It doesn't fit in with what they want to put out to the public. It doesn't fit in with the narrative that they're pursuing in their own opinion columns, their own tweets and what have you. I've not had a single comment from the media, and the media are aware that this has happened. And I think that actually...
What's happened? The video's gone viral?
Yeah, that the video's gone viral. With 90,000 views on this video, and bearing in mind the absolutely minimal costs there are behind producing a video like this, the audience it has gotten has been far more effective than the States, than the mainstream media ever would have been. It costs thousands of pounds to get an advert in the JEP, and that'll only be seen by maybe 10,000 people if you're lucky. So I think this in a way has shown that for politicians the media can be a bit redundant. They haven't been reporting on what alternative views are being put forward in the States. They focus mainly on what the Council of Ministers is doing, and I don't think they question them adequately enough. And when politicians like myself, like Deputy Montfort Tadyer or Deputy Jeff Southern, try to hold the government to account, none of the media report on it. And that's why the public are so disillusioned with politics, because they don't realise that there are actually a small number of politicians who are working really hard to try and hold the government to account. They think we're all the same. They think that we're all part of this cosy club, that we're not interested in looking out for ordinary people, and the media hasn't been giving a fair voice to the people who've actually been fighting for an alternative.
I suppose with those statistics of 90,000 views on social media and no reporting from the mainstream media, is the mainstream media, and I do want to come on to this later when we discuss the Donald Trump stuff, is the mainstream media in danger of becoming insignificant? If you're getting these kind of views and the mainstream media aren't reporting, are they in danger of losing their readership, their audience?
I think they are, and I think that what social media like Facebook and Twitter does is that it actually gives the power to get a message out in the hands of ordinary people. If you want to put a video together, you want to start a Facebook group or anything like that,
or a blog,
yeah, you can do that, and you don't need anyone's permission to do it, and you can get your own views out there, and you can get an audience, and people are often much more interested in hearing what ordinary people have got to say than they are what's put in the media. And from my perspective as a politician who is trying to represent ordinary islanders and not getting a fair hearing in the media, to see that I can now use Facebook to get my message out there, and more importantly to get people talking to me, so that it's not just me talking all the time. I've got to do the listening sometimes. I need to know what people feel so that I can go into the States and say what the people are feeling. That Facebook, blogs, Twitter are giving us a platform to do that, and we're reaching tens of thousands of people, and it's costing us virtually nothing. That is absolutely revolutionary for democracy, and it, I think, can only be a good thing, because it gives ordinary people much more power than they had before, and it's slipping out of the hands of the rich and powerful who had a monopoly on this beforehand, and that's got to be a good thing.